Guys, it is early Christmas here in Miami. I've got all the equipment just arrived for my new stereo for this apartment. I've got 2 sets of speakers to try out. I've got an integrated amp from Technics. I've got my SL1200G turntable and a bunch of other really cool stuff. So let's get unpacking. This is what the family room looks like. A little bit easier in terms of placement than the last apartment. And by the way, if you haven't seen the video for last year's Miami system, I'm going to post it in the comments for you. A lot of reflective surfaces, which is a bit of a bummer, so it's not going to be the best sounding room. We're replacing this rug with something a little bit bigger to have better coverage. If you remember last year's credenza, it was attached to the wall, so it's really hard to run wires and things. This one is not, but it's sitting a bit too low. So I've ordered some feet to try to get this off the ground a little bit. It'll help me hide some of the outlets and give me a little bit more comfortable access to the turntable. But in terms of speaker placement, we're in good shape. I'm gonna have to move this chair a little bit, but I've got plenty of room here. No more doorway on the way. It's got a generous television. It's got a really cool soundbar I'm gonna show you in a bit. And plenty of surface area for things. And it's gonna be a pretty simple system. Integrated amp, turntable, and perhaps a streamer will make an appearance here and there. Not much else to it. Oh, so check out the soundbar. It's a good sounding soundbar. It's got a matching subwoofer behind the couch. It's made by JBL. It's hung a little bit crooked and a little bit low. I'm gonna have to fix that. But it's got this really neat effect where these guys pull out and they become secondary speakers, almost like little Bluetooth speakers. I suspect that it can also become the surround speaker and you're just sitting back by the couch. But I've noticed that if I'm playing music through the television, I can just drop one of these in the bathroom maybe or in the kitchen and it plays right off of the same system. So kudos to JBL for this soundbar. Now we don't sell soundbars at SkyFi Audio, but I thought I'd just go over it with you. Now for the amplifier or integrated amp, in this case, the choice was easy. I went with the Technics SU1000R. This is their flagship integrated amplifier, mostly because I'm going to be using strictly vinyl on this system, or at least mostly vinyl. This has a phenomenal phono section with some great innovations on it, including the ability to set some of these settings automatically by playing a record that comes with the system. So it was an opportunity for me to spend a bunch more time with this piece, and also I'm going to do a separate review on it. It is out of the box. Just want to show you the cabinet work and the metal work. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is about a 1/4 inch thick machined aluminum. It has great cooling on the top. Looks like they used about 10 millimeters for the front panel in machined aluminum. The sides are also solid. So there's very little to no sheet metal used here. On the back, very generous set of banana, really a 5-way binding post. You've got facilities for 2 sets of speakers and a bunch of connectors, including one of the most sophisticated built-in phono sets of inputs I've seen, including balanced and RCA. This is super rare for an integrated amp. It's even rare for just a regular phono preamp. So obviously Techniques, their focus is analog, or at least turntables, so they really put a lot of effort into it, and that's why I chose this piece. It also has a really good DAC that is utilized for the amplification section, so they gave us a ton of inputs as well. I think I see a total of 6 digital inputs. So here's the first idea of placement. Integrated amp on the left. It's a bit tall and big for this piece aesthetically, but it's definitely worth it for having that, all the features that it has built into it. And then the turntable with our in-house SkyFi Audio wooden plinth. I think it looks great, adds a little bit of warmth to the whole system. Here's a better angle of it. All right, so that's the idea. Now for speakers, I've got 2 things cooking. I've got a set of new released Klipsch Ojas from the K0R1s that I'm gonna review. So they're gonna make their first appearance here. I got them in gray. And then as soon as those go to their new owner, then I am going to unbox a set of Sonus Faber Olympica 1s, which I'll probably show you later in this video. I didn't want a tremendously big speaker. It's not a difficult room and it's pretty lively. So I think a bookshelf, a good bookshelf like the Sonus Faber on a stand is gonna do this room justice. All right, so here are the Olympica Nova 1 speakers I mentioned. Now this happens to be a pre-owned pair, which we got from a client in New York City that traded up to the next size or the next line from the Olympica Nova. They are in beautiful condition. They come complete with just about everything from the factory. And look at these crazy grills. I'm always surprised. These are the quintessential Sonus Faber string or elastic string grails. Now they look terrible out of the box, but wait until you see them in place. Now let me know if you agree, but Sonus Faber really never disappoints in terms of the fit and finish. It is absolute craftsmanship. You know, from this metal inlay trim work here, rubber surrounds in the front, the design and placement of the tweeter. I mean, look at this cabinet work. And then let's look at the back. This unusual shape. I'm sure in their literature they've got a lot of reasons why they've gone with this shape, but I absolutely love it. It's like Italian elegance. Look at this, happens to be the bass reflex port right here. You can barely see it, but it's actually in form of a slit. And it's finished with this aluminum trim work. And then look at these binding posts. I mean, come on. Absolutely beautiful. Now the stands are equally impressive in fit and finish. Looks like we've got a machined aluminum bottom plate, probably around 6 or 7 millimeters, with a really cool reveal on it. It's got a, I imagine they first painted or anodized it and then machined this little reveal on it, which is super classy. All right, let's look at the ports, or the connections back here. These are rated for 4 ohms. In case you have a tube amplifier that gives you, or a McIntosh amplifier that gives you the ability to dial in exactly what kind of impedance you want. 2 positives at the top, 2 negatives at the bottom. So I'm going to leave the jumpers in place, and our connection is going to be pretty straightforward. So for speaker cables, I went with a set of Kimber cable monocle axes in 7 feet. This is what they look like. They're pretty sweet. Here we go, monocle X. And they've got this really nice WBT connectors on them, which I love. These are locking connectors. You know I'm a big fan of that, and I use WBTs whenever possible. First of all, these are plastic coated so that they don't short together. So if they happen to touch in the back of the speaker of the amp, they'll be pretty safe. As you can see, this is a plastic sleeve here. And then they essentially lock by turning this connector. The banana jack expands just so nicely, and it makes a beautiful tight bond. And that's what I look like for in cables. I look for a really high quality connector and a good quality copper as well. Now this being a medium-sized room, I'm going to go with the ports on the outside and hopefully being able to pick up a few more dBs of bass. Here's what it looks like in place. I'm super happy. The walnut finish on the Technics is a really close match to this beautiful finish on the speakers. There's a shot a little further back. So overall, I think the wife will approve of this look. And this speaks to why we carry Sonus Faber. If you follow the channel, you know we're huge fans of Klipsch speakers, especially the Heritage line, which is what we sell almost all the time. But we realize there's situations where you can have a big, giant speaker, or there are certain decors where, you know, the sort of mid-century look of Klipsch speakers just doesn't work. And this is where Sonus Faber comes in. They not only sound amazing, but they're also beautiful. And I bet you we can find a speaker that's going to seamlessly integrate into your decor that might have a pretty high, what we call wife acceptance factor. So here's the finished product, and I'm super pleased with the results. I think it's the right look. It's the right equipment choice for this room. I don't have it quite finished, so I could play something right now. I've still got to put a cartridge, calibrate the turntable, and a few other things, but this is essentially the finished layout. If you're not familiar, this is the Technics plinth that we sell at SkyFi Audio, and we also have a really cool custom cover for it, as well as the Technics branded puck, special head shields, wires, etc. SkyFiAudio.com. We are dealers for Sonus Faber's, Klipsch, McIntosh, Technics. So, you know, give us a chance if you look for any of this sort of equipment. We'd love to supply it for you. All right, so let's talk pricing here, because this is gonna probably shock you a bit. The Technics SUR1000, that's the flagship from them. It lists at $10,000. It's quite a formidable piece, well worth the effort, and it's really a one-piece solution. It's got a DAC, it's got a phono section, it's got a preamp, and it's amplifier, right? So you're almost getting 4 products in one box. So while 10 grand is a bunch of money, really when you break it down into what you're getting, it's actually fairly good value. The speakers with stands are about $8,700 or so. Come in 3 colors. They come in this walnut, they come in a winged, which is a darker wood finish, and they come in piano black as well. This is my favorite of the 3 finishes, but it's probably room dependent. The turntable is a bit more complicated. This is the SL 1200G, right? This is the sweet spot for Technics. Starting price for just the turntable, no cartridge or anything, is about $4,300. Out the door, we typically sell these, configured and calibrated with a good cartridge in the $6,000 to $7,000 mark, because you absolutely have to put a good cartridge on these. It'd be sacrilege to, spend this much on a turntable and then cheap out on the cartridge. And then there's a bunch of other options that can bring this up to almost the $10,000 mark, including our plinths, record pucks, cables, etc. So tons of videos on this, by the way. If you're interested in Technics turntables, we got to have at least 10, 15 videos up at this point. I'll link below with all of it. And then the cables, the monocle, these are X, which are a little bit of an older version. The XL is what's out now. You're looking somewhere between $1,800 and $2,800, depending on the length. That's probably more than I'd spend on this particular setup, but if you want absolutely no compromises, that's a fine cable to go with. I didn't talk power cords. We do have a high-end power cord on this Technics. For the integrated amp, I don't have it yet, but figure about $350 for a good power cord without wasting money. We're talking just a good quality connector and good quality cable itself. And not much else here. Later I'll add some sort of streaming device, probably HiFi Rose. I'm thinking maybe our RS-130, because I do have a pretty good DAC built into this. So the RS-130 streamer from HiFi Rose is going to look beautiful here and fit the part. And then I'm going to decide whether or not this is worthy of a subwoofer or not. That'll probably take me a few weeks to decide whether I'm getting enough bass in this room. But I don't want to do that until I've got all the furniture dialed in, because it's often affected by how much stuff is in the room. So I think that wraps it up. SkyFiAudio.com. I really appreciate if you guys could leave a comment below. It helps promote the videos and it helps justify the time I spent on these. So really love to hear from you guys. If you can just make a comment, let me know what you like, what you didn't like, what you would have done differently, and if you have any other suggestions of things I can try here that might work. Again, SkyFiAudio.com. Thanks so much for watching.